everybody, it's the Mad Master here doing another video. It's been a little while since I've done a video, and probably try to do some regular content on this channel from now. After today, I hereby announce that I will be doing it. So anyways, there's a lot of hoopla over this whole thing with civility and the protests against the Trump administration that are happening, as far as like confrontations in restaurants and people being banned from restaurants and all that sort of stuff. This is what I think about it. So I will say that civility has never really provided any change in our society, and the fact of the matter is that all these right-wingers making this huge deal out of this shit like it's unprecedented. Well, it's not really. I mean, you had people, I mean, the 60s were a big time of turbulence in our society, and we haven't really even approached that. I mean, there were like National Guard people shooting students, and there's bombings and shit, you know, even in where I live, you know, there was a huge bombing of one of the buildings by political groups and stuff. So now, in regards to return to that type of thing, I wouldn't say I want to go that far, but really, the best way to get people's attention is by confrontation sometimes. I mean, look at Scott Pruitt. I don't think he resigned because of the woman at the restaurant that confronted him, but it certainly probably played into Trump's decision to fire him or have him resign or whatever. The negative press is one thing, but actually having people confront people about what they're doing is another. And I think we've come to a time where we need to be more confrontational without being violent and while being civil. So while I'm mixed at kicking out Sarah Huckabee Sanders from a restaurant, I am not mixed on the confrontations that have happened at these restaurants with civilians, or not civilians, but you know, people that are attending the restaurant, or you know, customers of the restaurant confronting these political figures. Now, there was something I was watching the other day about some of this stuff, and they were saying, well, maybe they should go after the donors of these politicians. And I would say, you know, like, show up at their house and protest and shit. And I completely agree with that. I think that would be the better way to do this. The people, the bureaucrats are just following a lot of these people are just bureaucrats. They're just, you know, hired for a job. It's like any old job. They may disagree with their job. And like, I work for a company. I disagree with a lot of what they're doing, you know. I don't agree with everything they do, but it doesn't mean, but I guess I'm a representative of the company. At least right now, while I'm employed there. But the whole thing with civility's out the window. Well, the time to be civil for a lot of people is over when a lot of these things are going on, you know. So now there is an argument to be made that the left became very passive under Obama and let him slide with some of the same stuff that Trump is doing. I'm in total accordance with that idea. I mean, I would say the left goes to sleep when there's a Democratic president. I mean, they can get away with all sorts of shit, short of actual, you know, what's going on now, which is way worse. So, anyways, I'm not going to go on that tangent. I think we need to return to the 60s attitude towards protest, at least in some ways. Confrontation, you know, loudly proclaiming our stance on things instead of being fucking zombies on our cell phones and just going along with whatever the government does. I do believe in protest. And showing up at restaurants and questioning people in a calm, reasoned way is something that I support, because, you know, look at the Pentagon protests back in, I don't remember, is that 68? You know, a lot of people, there was the protesters at the Pentagon, and they confronted people. I mean, the things were so unpopular and got so heated that it just, you know, it led to a lot of change. So I believe in the restaurant protests. I don't necessarily agree with the actual heads of the restaurants kicking people out. I'm mixed on that, but I say let's go for it. You know, let's go for this. Let's get back to these ideals. You know, we need to have these subjects brought up to these corrupt people that are heading the government. And I know a lot of Trump supporters will probably say, you're a fucking cult leader, you know, whatever, won't like this, but whatever. So that's all I got to say about the restaurant protests, and please like, share, and support my channel.